Okay, so with me I have Ben Schofield, and he's part of the Funhouse Comedy Club, and we're in Barton in Nottingham right now. And I just thought we've caught him for an interview just to get to know him a bit better, because we've just seen him and he was amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
So yeah, I don't want to build you up too much,
Oh,
but you're really
build away, please.
Okay, so first question.
Yes.
How long have you been a stand-up comedian for?
I've been doing stand-up since 2001, so that's, what, 12 years?
Oh, okay, so you've been in it for quite some time.
Yeah, quite some time. Yeah, long enough to become jaded and bitter. Yeah, I started doing it in 2001, turned professional about 2006, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you've had quite a lot of experience in
Yes.
Do you always write your own routines?
Yes.
Yes.
Is the short answer to that. I have my partner actually, Rebecca, who's a wonderful woman. She probably, you know, when you meet someone and you just really share a sense of humour with them. So if I've got a new idea, I nearly always go to her with it first and say, what can I, what do you think of this? So she's a sort of touching post. But yes, I sort of try and write all my own stuff, definitely. Yeah.
That's pretty good then, that you've got a point of reference to
It is,
to,
yeah, it
to
is,
go to.
absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you come up with all your material?
Oh God, there's a question. You know what? There are some comedians who do it by rote, who sort of sit down and write, I'm going to do some writing today, but I find that if you do that, you just end up staring at a bit of paper until your eyes bleed. Or at least I do anyway.
That sounds very painful.
Yeah, it is. So I tend to, it's just when things come to you, do you know what I mean? You get, for the benefit of listeners at home, they will verify this is true, pen and paper on you at all times. I've just got it out to show them. But yeah, because you never know, when something's going to pop into your head and you can jog it down. Because funny things occur to people all the time, I think. I don't think seeing or having funny thoughts or noticing funny things, is particularly a talent. What you do with them is maybe, but I think everyone sees, things like that all the time. But it just sort of just floats off into the ether. You might sort of tell someone about it, but then you forget about it. The only difference is if you're a comedian, you get into the habit of, writing the damn thing down before it, before it flies out of your head.
Now, I'm guessing in an ideal comic world, you're always going to have an amazing gig.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone's laughing, everyone's enjoying it. But what do you do if there's no laughter?
Cry, normally. It's very rare, and this is more experience than anything else. I don't want to sound like I'm blowing my trumpet, but fortunately, touch wood, he said touching brick at the time. Touch wood, it doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
When it does, I think you kind of get a bit better the longer you've been doing it, sort of digging your heels in and cracking the whip a bit, But it depends on the environment you're in. I mean, sometimes you just really don't stand a chance, I mean, I've done gigs in some places where gigs just shouldn't have happened. The opening of a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Where they made me perform between sets from a jazz band outside on this sort of patio bit with an awning over the top, and I was getting heckled by people on the street.
Oh God.
Wondering, but are we allowed to swear on this?
Not
really.
No,
okay,
not
fair
really.
enough. But I got at least 2 or 3 people shouting expletives at me, from the street, and I couldn't even put them down because they're gone. They'd walked off past. Yeah, that was tough. And a fire engine went past as well with its sirens blazing. So it was. Yeah.
Well, that does actually bring me to my next question. How do you deal with hecklers?
Generally speaking, I think a mistake a lot of newer comics make is if someone heckles them, they feel they have to absolutely destroy them. They have to go after them, and but actually you can make yourself look a bit unpleasant basically by doing that. A bit of an idiot. It's very, very hard if you get angry with someone to sort of snap back into happy jokey Mr. Saturday Night. If a second ago you were screaming in someone's face, and so unless they're genuinely trying to upset the show, then actually I just try to sort of roll with it and just sort of smooth things over rather than going for the kill. So
use it to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then.
Yeah. You get a bit. As I say, it's experience again. The more you do it, the more use you get. You sort of dropping off script and dealing with it and coming back in. When you're new, because you're so terrified that someone will interrupt you because you're scared that you won't remember. Where was I? And your head will go blank completely. But yeah, generally speaking, I try not to be horrible to them unless they deserve it.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
What inspired you to become a comedian?
I loved stand-up comedy ever since I was young, really. I didn't get started doing it until I was 21. I had pretensions of maybe being a rock star and tried to do all that until I realised I wasn't pretty enough. Thank you for springing to my defence. No, before that, I'm on hiding to nothing here. But when I was a teenager, certainly when I was a young man, I really loved stand-up, and I used to sneak out of bed. They used to show a programme late at night on Channel 4 called Just for Laughs, which was from the Montreal Comedy Festival, and it was on after my bedtime.
Oh, okay.
You know, but I used to sneak out of bed to watch it. I'd always get rumbled because I'd laugh out loud, and the parents would storm in and send me off to bed. But yeah, just absolutely that, and an album by Billy Connolly called The Pick of Billy Connolly, which was just, my dad got it from Bradford Central Library.
Oh, okay.
And I'll thank him eternally for it, because it was just an inspiration. He's still probably my favourite comedian to this day. Although that's not why I look like this. I am a hairy and bearded man, but that's more of a tribute to the Big Lebowski than Billy Connolly. But yeah, he was a big inspiration as well.
Cool. How did your first ever comedy gig go?
My first one went really well. It was at a gig in Bradford, and there was about 150 people in, and my parents and my sister had come along. My mum and my sister were so nervous they actually left the room and retreated into the bar. They were more nervous than I was, I think. I can't bear it. It's going to be terrible. And then when they heard laughter, they came back in. So my first one actually went pretty well. My second one, which was about, my first one was on this is it, you see, my first one was on the Friday, and the promoter said to me, hey, that was great for a first gig, that was wonderful. Hey, I'm on this other gig in Sheffield, do you want to come and do it next Thursday? I thought, oh, this is brilliant. I've got my second booking, we're off and away, and then I went to Sheffield and died on my hoop. So I sort of saw both sides of it sort of within 2 gigs, but my actual first one went very well.
Wow.
And I didn't come down for about 3 days. I was bouncing off the walls.
You can't ask better than that, though, can you, on your first ever gig?
Thing is, if I was to look back at a recording of it now, it probably wasn't that amazing. But my memory of it is good, so I'll cherish that.
Okay, so this part of my interview is a bit of a quick fire.
So
I'm going to ask you either or, and it's just the first one that comes into your head, so we're really going to get to know you.
Okay,
So
I love binary questioning, go for it.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, beach or city?
City.
Domino's or Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut.
Elton John or Alice Cooper?
Alice Cooper.
Tommy Cooper or Morecambe and Wise?
Oh, that's a terrible question. It pains me to have to pick one, but I'll say Tommy Cooper.
Is that because of his fez?
It is his fez as well, yeah.
Bungee jump or roller coaster?
Roller coaster.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Salt and vinegar or cheese and onion?
Salt and vinegar all the way.
Mashed or roast?
Roast.
Push bike or motor?
Push bike. I wouldn't dare go on a motorbike.
Monty Python or Friends?
Monty Python, every day of the week.
Strong or weak tea?
Strong, so you can stand your spoon in it.
Hero or villain?
Me?
Well,
A villain, definitely.
Catwoman or Wonder Woman?
Oh, Catwoman.
Ghostbusters or Nightmare on Elm Street?
Ghostbusters.
Sports car or 4x4?
4x4.
Happy or sad ending?
Sad ending.
Tattoos or piercings?
Piercings.
Popeye or Desperate Dan?
Oh, Popeye.
Sunday roast or curry?
Sunday roast.
Beer or cocktail?
Beer.
Oh, see, I didn't know if we had a bit of a dark horse and you'd be like cocktail.
I definitely look like a real ale person, not a cocktail person.
So it's more ale than lager then, you'd say?
Yeah, absolutely. Most cocktail bars, most nice ones, and I walk in and the people just look at me and tell me they don't have any change. So, yeah.
Well, you handled that quick fire
thank you very much.
quite well. You didn't, crack under pressure, so that's all good.